Hi. So, this is my first ever yoga class, and I am recording it because I took a lot of time to prepare it and the flow of it. So, thanks for joining. It's definitely going to be a bit more of a slower paced, stretching based, kind of therapeutic yoga. I'm going to incorporate kind of a mantra as well as a mudra at the end, which means using our hands and the touch of our body to kind of move energy and have an intention behind that. So I'm going to try and explain everything I'm doing, and it's also helping me realize what I'm learning and how to put that into practice. So hopefully this is enjoyable to you. And I would love to do more in the future for all of you guys. I thought about a lot of you and like injuries you have and things that bother you. So I know like lower back and shoulders and knees. So I try to think of that as I picked out some of these moves. But I will do my best each time to give a modification, and which means okay, this might be a little bit too difficult. So here, try this if it is. But if at any time it doesn't feel right, I definitely want you to stop and just go in a child's pose or lay in shavasana. Uh, this is your own practice. So yeah, uh, I am going to start by reading um, a quote by Rumi, who is one of my favorite uh, poets. He's a mystic Sufi, so it's like a branch of Islam, and it's really connected with just spirituality. And he was around a long time ago, but I think just his writings in general still really resonate with me. Um, so the quote is, "Do not feel lonely. The entire universe is inside you. Stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Set your life on fire." So the reason I chose that for this practice is because I want to think about the specific things in our lives that are making our lives smaller, that are making us act small. So he says, stop acting so small. And that really speaks to me. I can always find reasons to be scared of something or be fearful, especially just in the times we're in. And I really want to take the next hour or so and open it up as a time for anyone watching this to recognize what it is that maybe comes to your mind when you hear that, what it is that's making you small, making your life small, and recognize it, hear the thought, maybe recognize something in your body as well, because we can carry all of these heavy things physically as well as mentally. Just kind of give space that this is happening and then let it go. And we're going to work on kind of moving around this like negative energy, these things that might be holding us back. And then after this practice, I think it would be a great thing for anything that comes to your mind, or any difference you feel before or after with this in mind, to kind of think on that some more. So this is a bit of a mantra to think through, like what is it that is holding me back? What are the small things in my life that are making my life smaller? So think of that as we go through this. And I'm going to start with a breathing exercise, actually. um, as I do this, what something I often do is I think about kind of positive versus negative things. So I breathe in, the positive things, and I breathe out the negative things. And in this case, I want to breathe in um, anything that is going to help light my life on fire, kind of like he says in that quote. And I want to breathe out anything that's keeping me small, anything that's keeping my life small. And so the type of breath that I want to do is a pranayama practice. And pranayama is kind of the practice of breathing. And the name of this specific practice is Nadi Shohana, and it means alternate nose breathing. So it's pretty simple. You're going to take your thumb and your ring finger on each of your nostrils. Don't close them both off just yet. And you can put the other two fingers kind of right here in the middle of your forehead on your third eye. Don't press too hard. If that becomes uncomfortable, feel free to take them off and kind of let them hang, whatever feels best for you. What you're going to do is you're going to breathe in one nostril while closing the other. And then you're going to put your finger back down. And for a brief moment in between each breath, both nostrils will be closed off. So I'll lead us for the first 2 or 3 rounds, but I find that this one's easier for everyone to kind of go at their own pace. One moment, please. Actually, my dog is crying. Okay. All right, I'm back. So we have our thumb and our ring finger on our nose, and our other 2 fingers on our third eye. So I'm going to start on my right. So I'm going to breathe in right. Put the thumb down and, kind of pause there, and then breathe out left. Thumb down quickly. Now breathe in left. Breathe out right. Thumb down. Breathe in right. Breathe out left. You might notice a difference in each side. So I can tell as I'm breathing that my right side is very stuffed up, and the right side of my body is a little off balance compared to my left. Just keep going at your own pace now. We're going to do this for another minute or so. And if you want to play around with it, you can kind of hold the breath for a second in between each, see how that feels, and then we'll just take notice of how you feel afterwards. Take about 5 more breaths, and then we'll meet back here. All right, so we're gonna finish up breathing, and then we're gonna go to our mats. For now, I'm gonna keep my camera down a bit because we're gonna mostly be on the floor for the first few minutes. This part of the practice is really just to kind of make space, get energy moving. I just want us to kind of get grounded, feel our bodies, kind of think through like what we might want out of this practice, and just kind of get loose a little bit before we jump into a bit more intense moves. So I want to start off by coming to tabletop, which is just hands and knees. You want your hands to be under your shoulder and your knees to be under your hips. And I really just want everyone to kind of move their bodies however feels best to them. Something I love to do is kind of go in circles with my hips, pushing them down and around, and then almost coming into a little child's pose here in the middle, and then going the other way eventually. Another thing you could do is take cat-cow. So you're gonna lift your chin up, really engage that stomach, and then come back, arch that back, pull that belly button in, engage your core and your abs there, and then come up. So I'm gonna give everyone a minute and kind of do whatever feels best right now in this tabletop pose for your body. If you are taking circles or moving your body in one direction, now would be a good time to go ahead and switch to the other side if you haven't already done so. When you're done, let's meet in child's pose. So you can take a few options in child's pose. You can kind of flare your knees out like I'm doing. Some people like their knees to be together. It's very up to you based on what feels more comfortable in your hips. Now it's very comfortable for me to touch my knees, so I'm going to keep mine out. Let's take a few breaths here. In and out. Take one more breath. And then come up to your knees. You can stay facing whichever side you're facing, or you can face me, up to you. So we just took the cat-cow on tabletop. And now, if you didn't take it, great. And if you did, then you're getting a little extra work. We're gonna really just open up that chest and then that back. So we're gonna take sitting cat-cow. So you're gonna lift your chin up, kind of puff up out your chest, keep engaging that stomach, and then you're gonna push your back out. You're gonna wanna move on your breath. So I like to inhale when I come up and exhale as I come back. Take 5 rounds of breathing on the inhale and on the exhale with cat-cow. When you're finished, come up. And here's a good time to kind of notice how your spine is doing. Are you overcompensating by arching forward a lot, or are you slouched back a lot? Try and kind of settle your hips in a little bit. Take those shoulders and let them naturally rest next to your side, and try and keep your spine as stable and as long as possible. So this is just working on sitting well. This also applies if you're sitting cross-legged or you have your feet in front of you. Kind of think about how balanced you are in a sitting position, and that might be something you can just work on in general. Also, obviously my dog is now decided it's playtime as I'm trying to do this, so hopefully she's not too distracting. So the last thing we're going to do here is we're just going to take some shoulder rolls. So we're going to go up and back with our shoulders. Once again, encourage you to think about breathing. You can take really slow rolls, breathe in, breathing out on the down, or you can do a shoulder roll that's one full inhale and then one that's a full exhale. So I'm going to do full Inhale, full exhale. Do this for about 10 more seconds in the same direction you've been going. Now we're going to switch directions. All right, you can stop when you're ready. Okay. Now just kind of move your shoulders, whatever your body feels like it needs. I feel like I need to kind of like stretch them out a little bit right here. If you need to do anything like moving to the side, getting some side stretches in, feel free to do that before we jump into the next section. So the next part is a bit more of the energetic part of this practice, and I'm actually not going to focus a lot of time on this one. We're going to, do a few poses that's going to kind of get energy moving and get some burn, and then we're going to really hop into the more stretch-based yoga and slower movements and holding movements for longer. We're going to start with a basic sun salutation. So I'm going to move this up a little bit so you can see me. Yep. So the sun salutations is just a movement of repetitive motions. And I'm going to do a pretty easy version of this. And I'm going to lead you in 2 rounds, and then I'm going to let you do 2 yourself, and you can switch it up if you need to, but hopefully, it's something that you can remember the moves. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. So you're going to start by standing at the front of your mat. So here's where you can focus on like standing well. So you want to be balanced in both of your feet and the soles of your feet and your heels. Start by having your palms out, facing forward a little bit. Just a really solid Tadasana or tree pose. And then we're gonna lift our arms up over our head. And I wanna remind you here that you should move with the breath on these moves. So you're gonna inhale, arms up, exhale, arms down. Inhale, halfway lift. So your hands are gonna come to your knees a little bit. Chin's gonna be forward a little bit. We're inhaling. And then on the exhale, we're going to do all of this at one time. We're going to put our hands down and then our right leg back. I want you to put your right knee on the ground. And when you come up, inhale, arms up. On the exhale, arms down. Inhale, leg back. Same inhale. You're going to put your knees down, and then you're going to come down on your elbows. And I just realized you can't see me. Move the camera down a little bit. Here we go. So we have our knees down, elbows down, knees, chest, chin, and you're going to come up into a little cobra. So you don't have to do you don't have to come up on your hands or anything. We're just going to stay in cobra for a minute. And then we're going to breathe in and come to down dog. Breathe out. On your next breath in, bring your left leg forward. Right knee down. Breathe in, arms up. Breathe out, hands down, right leg up. We're going to meet in standing pose again. Breathe in, arms up. And now that's one salutation. We're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to start with our left foot this time. So don't forget to breathe. I'm just going to cue you on the movements, and you're breathing in and out with each movement. Arms up, fold down, halfway lift, chin forward, Pull down, left leg back, left knee down, arms up, hands down, right foot back, knees, chest, chin, baby cobra. Breathe in, breathe out, downward dog. Now right foot forward, breathing in. Ooh, left knee down, arms up, hands down. Breathe in and bring your left foot to your right. Now come all the way up. All right, so now I want you to do the same movement yourself, one on each leg, and then we'll meet back together. I want to note that in the movements and the transitions between getting those feet that are behind you in between your hands, like so, not everyone has the full flexibility to bring your foot directly in between your legs. I'm not even fully there yet. I still have to move my arm a little bit. So feel free, when you need to, if you have to move your arm for a second and then bring that hand back, you totally can. Just always remember to end up with your foot in between your hands. Okay, we're gonna meet in standing pose. Straighten this a little bit. And now we're gonna do chair pose. So chair pose, it's gonna look like this. Our feet are gonna be about an inch apart. Knees are gonna be over the ankles. So when you look down, your knees are gonna bend a little bit, but you should always be able to see your toes. So you're never gonna be like so far bent forward that your knees are gonna come over your toes. You wanna be able to see that line of your toes. So you're gonna breathe in, bend those knees, lift your arms, and we're gonna hold it here for 1 second. And then we're gonna take alternate twists to the side. So your hands are kind of come to like a prayer position, and then you're gonna move to one side of your leg. Keeping those hands in the prayer position, you're gonna look up towards your opposite elbow. So I'm now looking at my right elbow. And then you can breathe in, breathe out, and come to the other side. So some of the people may have more tighter shoulders. Sorry, my dog's barking. Let me get better. Okay, so you may have tighter shoulders. So if that's the case and you can't make this full movement, it's okay to just rest your elbow kind of wherever it naturally wants to stop. But I will also encourage you to kind of start feeling around for the tension between I literally can't and like it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I can lean into that in comfort. So with that, I'm gonna let you guys do it on your own. Let's do 5 more rounds. 10 total. So breathing in to the left, breathing in again, center, breathe out to the right, breathing in, left. Don't forget to keep those knees locked and engaged. That's kind of where the fire is going to start. You might even feel your legs shake a little bit. That is also okay. Notice kind of what emotions might be coming up right now as you're feeling that burn in your legs. Great, we're gonna meet in center. You can stand. Bring your hands to heart center, palms meeting. Now we're gonna slow it down a little bit while still working. So we're gonna take downward dog. No. All right, downward dog. I'll just meet you there. So I'm gonna give you a tip on downward dog. A lot of people wonder what the actual, just a little bit, what the correct way to do it is. In terms of where your feet should be, a kind of a rule of thumb is take a plank pose, a comfortable plank pose for yourself. And then that is where you should be able to lift your hips and really get that V. Your arms, the eye of your arms, so this little part right here, should be facing forward. And there should be kind of an L in your hand in between your thumb and the finger next to it. And you want that facing forward a little bit too. You kind of want to be looking at a letter L and a backwards letter L with the eye of your elbow reaching forward. So that's how you're gonna get into a good downward dog. And you want the energy from like your hands and your feet to kind of be meeting and not one or the other overcompensating. So once we're here, we're just gonna take a three-legged dog on each side. So you're gonna lift this right leg and you're gonna hold it there for just a moment. Breathe into it, kind of feel what you feel. Breathe out, bring it back down. And then lift your left leg. Take 3 breaths. And bring it back down. Now, if you can, actually, never mind. Now what I want you to do, put your knees down for a minute, take a break, and then come into child's pose. So the next part of the class is where I really kind of picked out really good stretching poses that I know some of you like, a little bit of shoulder work, lower back work. So what I want to start with is a little bit of a lower back stretch. We're going to start on our stomachs in a pronated position. So if everyone wants to kind of come to a plank and get, kind of firm and steady, knees down, elbows down. We meet here. I'm going to move this camera a little bit, take a breather. And my computer's going to die. Wonderful. One moment. Okay, so we're here. We're gonna be on our front. Get comfortable, wiggle your hips out if you need to. Evenly distribute the weight. And then what I want you to do is put your arms out in a T. So each side. Turn your face whichever way feels right. Mine is turned towards the right. And then I want you to take the same leg that your face is kind of facing. So my right leg, I want you to lift it up and bring it behind you. So you're gonna look like this. You're gonna feel a really big stretch in that lower back, as well as in your shoulders possibly. So I actually have my foot, flat, sitting on the ground behind me. If this isn't possible for you, just go as far as you can. If you just want to like let the leg hang, or you just want to do this and like lift it up, it's not going to be as much of a lower back stretch, but you can still be here in this position with us. So I'm going to bring mine back here. If you need to maybe move your arms around a little bit to make the legs work, feel free to do that as well. You can always, take it sitting up, so it's not so much pressure on your back. Putting a hand here, wherever you want to put your hands, you're still going to get a little bit of that lower back stretch. But for those of you that are able to get the leg back, just lay here and just breathe in. And breathe out. 3 more big breaths. All right, when you're ready, come out, carefully move the leg back. Don't just like sling your body around. Now we're gonna do the opposite side. Same thing, take whatever modification works for you. Always feel free to just go to child's pose if that's what you need to do as well. I'm gonna turn my head to the left, bring that left leg up, it's back. Take a few deep breaths. This side is invoking a lot of like negative energy for me. I definitely feel like quitting. I'm kind of like don't want to be in it on the left side for some reason. So notice anything you feel that's like that, and just kind of let it go, or maybe recognize it and think what it is that's causing you to feel that way. One more big breath. Slowly come out of it. Bring that leg down. We're going to take a counter stretch. So bring your hands down to next to your chest. And we're going to do another baby cobra. We're just going to lift up. Feel free to take a big cobra all the way up. Slowly lift your chin. Be careful. Don't just like jerk it up. Be pretty steady and then lift it, looking up. Breathe in. Breathe out. And now we're going to take a lot of people's favorites, but a harder one for guys sometimes. We're going to do crow. So we come up to plank, downward dog, whatever you please. You're going to, take your right leg and you're going to bring it forward in between your hands as far as you can get it. And it's going to kind of look like this. So it's not going to be a perfect 90-degree angle. It's okay. You can look more like a 7 right here. Okay. And then we're going to stay for a moment. Sitting, just breathing, kind of get grounded, move your hips around a little bit if you need to. If you have the ability to, you can come down. You could put your hands on your head. You could even put your hands straight out in front of you. Whatever feels right to you. But always know that you can come back to right here at any point. Kind of tent your fingers if you can to really get that stretch in. Keep those shoulders down, chin up. Let's take 3 more breaths on the right side. You should really be feeling that stretch in your butt and your hips. Great. Now we're gonna come up. I always like to kind of take this like counter when I come up from crow. I lift my leg up. Ooh, and my hip always pops right there. and then bring it back down the right leg. You can even, start it with a counter for balance, or start it with a lift for balance, and bring the left leg through. Same thing on the different side. So find what feels comfortable. Always have to like wriggle around for a little bit. The key is that you definitely want those hips to continue facing forward. You shouldn't be facing sideways. There shouldn't be any hip that's not in line with this direct forward line of your body. So I feel much more tight in my left side. And because of that, I think I'm going to take a much deeper stretch than I even did on my right side. Until, it hurts, of course, don't go that far. But, push your body, see what it can do. Sometimes I even like to move around a little bit. Once I'm here, feel that muscle. Breathing in and out. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Go ahead and walk your hands back up if you came down. Let's take 1 more breath together. Chin lifted. Breathing in and out. Okay. All right, come out. Kind of take that right foot to help you get lifted. Take that left foot up if you need to, like I do. Downward dog. Just stay here for a second, breathing in and out. All right, you can come to tabletop, if you need to take a little transition and move around a little bit. We're gonna do 1 or 2 more intense stretches. So this one is called the cow face pose. So what you're gonna do is start with your legs in front of you. So this is a good place to practice that sitting well. So if you need to even lift your kind of butt cheeks up a little bit so that you feel those sit bones, you're sitting on those and you feel very balanced. Someone pushed you, you wouldn't be wobbly. So get pretty sturdy right there. And then you're gonna take your right foot and leg, and you're gonna move it under your left as far as you can. Your knee is gonna be kind of bent, so you can see how bent this is. This is very much gonna depend on your flexibility, but you don't want your foot to go under your butt. You just kind of want it sitting to the side. And then you're gonna take your left foot and you're gonna do the same thing. And here's where you kind of have to figure out, what works for you, because you want them to be pretty equally distanced. You don't want, one only an inch here and then the other so far back. So I have to move around a little bit once I get here as well. But now I feel pretty good there. I feel a pretty good stretch on both sides. There we go. Do what feels right for you. If this just is not happening whatsoever, you can come here to laying down and do the same thing. You can get that stretch by pulling on the back of your thigh, or by pushing down on your calf. Hold the stretch and maybe even move around a little bit. Move your feet around so that you're feeling the stretch in different parts of your legs. But if you are able to get the pose, we're going to come here and we're going to stay here for about 5 breaths on this side. Okay. Your hands, by the way, you can either rest them, a lot of people put them on each into their feet. If you're able to reach that, you can. But if not, free to put them on the ground wherever you can reach, or lay them wherever feels comfortable. I'm going to go with feet because that feels good to me today. One more breath. If you ever want to stay in a pose longer than me, feel free. I actually take pretty shallow breaths because I have asthma. So if your breaths are much longer, then feel free to just kind of catch up and go at your own pace as you need to. I'm going to uncross my legs. I'm going to bring them back to the center, kind of get balanced again, reset, and then I'm going to do the other side. And remember to take the modification on this side as well, but sometimes our sides can be different. So I would encourage you to maybe try on the other side just to see if you can. But if not, take whatever modification works for you. So this side is a little bit more difficult for me. I don't feel as naturally balanced for some reason. So I'm like wiggling around a lot. It's okay. I'm gonna move my shoulders to kind of get all the kinks out. And then I'm gonna take 5 breaths in this position as well. One more breath. Okay. Come out of it. Whew. Reset here. Then we have one more stretching pose. And this one's gonna focus on our shoulders. So I'm gonna probably face you guys for this one. So this is a pretzel. And it's a shoulder stretch, like I said. So you're gonna come into tabletop, okay? And actually, no, we're gonna start, in downward tree. So we're gonna lay down and then we're gonna lift up into a sphinx. So our forearms are on the ground in front of us. Look forward. And then I want you to pretty much cross your arms like you would if you were like giving yourself a hug. And I really want you to come down into that. So give yourself a hug with the right arm underneath the left. So left is over right. And really lean into that until it feels really good for you. So I don't like to go too deep into this because you could really hurt yourself if you go too far. So whatever feels right. If you want to put pressure on it by putting it down and really just laying in that stretch, you can do that. You put your elbows forward. This, I don't have very tight shoulders, so this definitely does something for me, but I know for a lot of people it can do a lot, and it can also work here in this upper part of your arm. Yeah. If this isn't really your thing, you can try just a simple arm stretch by putting one arm under the other and kind of pushing back with your opposite hand to get that shoulder stretch. Up to you. I'm gonna come back down to pretzel for those that chose that. We're here. We're holding on. Kind of moving our arms wherever we feel that pressure. Let your head hang during this, by the way. Don't really put much effort there. Take 3 more breaths. Okay. And come out. And we're going to the opposite side. If you took the modification is going to be the same thing, except you're going to have the other arm under, pushing back with the right arm to get that shoulder stretch. If you took pretzel, we start in Sphinx. This time we're going to have left arm under and right arm across. Yep. Let your chin hang. I'm going to move my arms forward a little bit. Put yours where it feels right, where you feel that stretch. All right, one more breath. And into Sphinx again, arms in front. Take a few breaths here in Sphinx, just breathing in and out. Think about sending some breath to your lower back here. Kind of feel if there's any tension or knots there. Do a little scan of your back, see how you're feeling. All right, when you're ready, come back up to tabletop. Take a few cat-cows. Counteract the back bend we just did. All right. For the sake of time, I'm going to pause on the stretches. And we're going to move on to the more relaxation-based part of the practice. Okay. So I want us pretty much to be on our backs the whole time for this. So when you're ready, just come down to your back. Put your arms wherever it feels comfortable out at your side, the bottom. Actually, bring your knees up and hug yourself. Grab hold of your shins and rock yourself. You can kind of get a feel for like you rock backwards a little bit, you're going to be a bit more middle lower back, and if you kind of come forward, you're going to get that that lower back kind of like upper buttocks area, wherever feels right for you. I'm really always have a lot of energy in that upper buttocks, like lower back area, so I kind of rock forward a little bit to get that stretch in. You can even go in circles to get both of them, to get both areas that I just described. Make sure you go in the opposite circle. I also, if I feel like one place that I feel like a really good energy release, I'll kind of like focus there for a minute and let my weight just kind of press into that area. Yep. Don't forget to breathe, like I just did while I was talking. And then I want you to put your legs out, arms out, and we're going to take a spinal twist. So I want you to take your left leg, bend it over your right, but make sure to keep your shoulders down. So the depth in this is going to depend on your flexibility in some ways. So I don't want like your whole shoulder coming up. I want both shoulder blades still on the ground. I have okay flexibility here, so mine can come down, but it's never gonna like reach the floor or anything on this stretch for me. Look the opposite way that your knee is bent. So look to the left if your knee's bent, if your left leg is bent, to the right. Breathe in a few times. Let's do 3 breaths. Right. One more breath and meet in the middle. Here, I like to, once again, kind of straighten my legs so that they are, I kind of get balance on both sides. Feel the difference in one side versus the other. And now do the opposite side. So putting our right leg over, keeping the shoulder blades down, and we're looking in the opposite direction. All right, one more breath, and then we're going to meet in the middle. Okay. Do whatever feels right for you right now. So if you want to do another, spinal twist, if you want to cross your knees, go this way, come the other way. What feels right for me right now is really just putting my arms and my feet, just stretching them kind of as far as I can, getting all that energy, top and bottom. Yeah. Cool. Now what I want to do is teach you a mudra. So you stay on your back, but be able to see the camera. And this mudra is called Keshapana mudra. And the way we're going to move our fingers and place them is going to help us remove negative energy. So thinking to the beginning of this, what are the small things that are holding us back? What are the things that are making our life small? We can kind of recognize them and let them go. And so we're going to be on our backs doing this, but I'm going to show you here. So your hands are going to come together and your pointer fingers are going to stay connected, and so are your thumbs for now. And the other back 3 fingers are going to fold down so you can see here. And then you're going to fold your thumbs over each other as well. So it's going to look like this. And this pointer finger is connected, thumbs crossed, and your little finger, index finger, middle finger are also crossed. We're going to be laying down, like I said. So in this case, I'll be laying down. You're going to put it over your head. And we're going to breathe in 10 breaths with that. And I want you to think back to that initial mantra of breathing in, positive things that serve you and bring you life and make your life bigger. And then we're going to let the mudra as well as the exhale help us get rid of some of the negative things as well as just negative energy in our lives. So come down to your back. I want you to be in more of a relaxed pose, so you don't need to be flexed. One thing I will note is that during this, keep your throat and your face very open. So don't clench. You have a bandha here, Jalandhara bandha, which means like an energy lock. And you could easily clench this and it would stop energy from leaving out the top of your body. But right now, we actually want energy to leave out of our body while we have this mudra. So we're putting our pointer fingers together, other fingers across, put it over your head. And now just take 10 breaths at your own pace. Really relaxed body, relaxed throat and head. Two more breaths. Okay, and when you're done, we're going to take about 5 minutes and we're going to come into Shavasana. So this is just the penultimate part of the practice. It is, the most important pose in yoga. It's really where we're letting everything that's happened today kind of settle and rest and let our body get balanced and recognize, how we feel. I want you to note during this maybe how you felt before and after, or just kind of do a body scan. Is anything still feel a little off? I'm gonna play a song during this, so you guys can stay there, and you should just hear a little bit of background music and take, it's gonna be about 4.5 minutes. Just really relax here and let ourselves get comfortable. You taught me the courage to start before you left. How life carries on endlessly, even after death. With shortness of breath, you explain the infinite. How rare and beautiful it is to even exist. I couldn't help but ask you to say it all again. I've tried to write it down, but I can never find it. I'd give anything to hear you say it one more time. That the universe was made just to be seen by my eye. And I couldn't help but ask you to say it all again. I'm trying to write it down, but I can never find it. I'd give anything to hear you say it one more time. That the universe was made just to be seen by my eyes. The shortness of breath, I'll explain the infinite. How rare and beautiful truly is the we exist. All right, slowly start moving your hands and feet, wriggling your toes and your fingers out. When you feel ready, uh, turn to one side, use your hands to lift up, um, and that will end our practice today. So kind of notice, how do I feel now versus when I started? Um, were any things in my mind? What did my mind go to during this that maybe I can focus on afterwards, that I should think through? What ways are my life small right now, and what is making it that way? Um, Much love to everyone, and thanks for joining this half dog yoga class, half yoga class. Okay, bye.